Happy Tuesday, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Jill Lampkins.
And I'm Macy Neumeister. Our top stories for tonight include Ben Sasse's resignation and a 15-year-old accused of killing her father.
An update on the Bowie fire and news on a fatal car crash. Stick with us.
Live from the University of Nebraska College of Journalism and Mass Communications, this is Nebraska Nightly.
First up, Senator Ben Sasse is expected to take a new job as the president of the University of Florida. Once Senator Sasse is formally officiated the position, he will have to resign from the U.S. Senate before the end of the year. Sasse's resignation would not change the balance of power in the Senate, as Governor Pete Ricketts would name his replacement. Ironically, though, Governor Ricketts unsuccessfully ran for the Senate himself and will be leaving his job at the end of 2022. Dean Hub Brown with the University of Florida said that this upcoming Monday, the senators will be meeting with the deans.
Last Monday, police were called to an apartment near 40th Street and Highway 2 after a 15-year-old Sally Gilmer found her 70-year-old father, Jesse Gilmer, stabbed to death, according to the affidavit. On Wednesday, Gilmer was charged with first-degree murder and use of a weapon to commit a felony. Her boyfriend, 16-year-old Isaac Hoggingsmith, is charged with aiding and abetting in the murder. Both are being charged as adults. During a press conference last Tuesday, Lincoln Police Chief Teresa Ewens said that the case is not indicative of higher crime rate in Lincoln. She says the police work hard to stop these crimes, but many are isolated incidences that they can't prepare for.
And in regional news, firefighters fought hard to contain a large wildfire in the Nebraska Sandhills. The Bowie fire began last Sunday at the Nebraska National Forest near Halsey, quickly spreading north. While progress was quickly made, one firefighter died while fighting the flames. The fire also destroyed much of a popular youth campsite and threatened a small village. The youth campsite, the historic 4-H, is seeking donations to rebuild. Officials are saying that the fire was started by a UTV that was on one of the trails, and after a week of fighting, the fire is now contained.
And in national news, Hurricane Ian may be long gone from Florida, but the cleanup is still far from done. Workers on the ground have restored power to more than 2.5 million businesses. President Biden surveyed the Hurricane Ian damage in Florida Wednesday. Speaking from Fisherman's Wharf in Fort Myers, Biden said he's there to assure Floridians the federal government is behind them. While Biden is working to help Floridians, they aren't the only ones in crisis, as he warns the nation on Russia President Vladimir Putin's nuclear threats.
That's right, Biden delivered a stark warning saying the direct threat of nuclear weapons is the first since the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962. This comes as Russia continues to face military setbacks in Ukraine. But despite Biden's warning, a U.S. official said Thursday they have not seen a change to Russia's nuclear posture. Last week, Putin announced the illegal annexation of 4 Ukrainian regions, saying Russia would use all available means to defend the area.
Well, election season is upon us, and October 2nd, KLKN-TV and the University of Nebraska hosted Democratic Patty Pansing-Brooks and Republican Mike Flood for congressional debate. Rebecca Heckel has more.
Thanks, Macy. An hour full of hot topic questions for the first congressional district candidates earlier this month. What better way to learn about the candidates than through a debate? Let's jump right in and hear from their opening statements.
I want you to remember 3 things from this debate. Number 1, I am the only candidate that will fight for women's reproductive rights and birth control. Number 2, I am the only candidate not taking corporate PAC dollars. I will not be beholden to special interests, only to you, my fellow Nebraskans. And number 3, I initiated my campaign and have worked the entire time to fight for bipartisanship.
If you believe that America should stay in the status quo, if you believe that Nancy Pelosi should be the Speaker of the House, then by all means, vote for my opponent. If you want a change in America's direction, then I'd be honored to have your vote.
The first question involved policies on inflation. Pansing-Brooks said she wants to lower premiums for the Affordable Care Act and lower prescription drug costs, while Flood wants to stop spending and make America energy independent.
We can't go around funding every single one of these bills. And right now, with Democrats solidly in control, the spending is excessive and it's reckless and it's dangerous.
And on one of the more hot-button issues, that was women's reproductive rights. Flood believes in what he calls reasonable restrictions, like the 20-week abortion ban in place already in Nebraska. And here is Pansing Brooks' stance on abortion.
The age of viability balanced against the health of the mother. That's what Roe stated. So that has been understood in our country as around 20 weeks. And if the life of the mother at 30 weeks is at risk, then decisions have to be made.
And after the tragic mass shooting in Uvalde, Texas in the summer, gun reform is on everyone's mind. Pansing Brooks said, if you want to carry an AR-15, sign up for the military. Flood remains adamantly pro-Second Amendment, wanting to add more long-term mental health care for those with homicidal tendencies. Moving on to the student loan forgiveness plan, here's what they had to say.
What I think about tuition forgiveness is it's a very, very difficult issue. And yes, I think we have to do something about tuition.
I do not support paying down the college debt of PhDs, lawyers, and doctors on the backs of waitresses, plumbers, and electricians.
Pansing Brooks and Flood talked about even more, agreeing on what to do about Ukraine, funding Social Security, and who won the 2020 election. In the end, they both agreed people need to work together.
I respect her. I respect the fact that she cares so deeply about this, that she's running for this, and I know she believes in all of her heart in the things that she says.
We have got to understand that we are not each other's enemies. We are each other's colleagues, family, friends, and neighbors.
That's all we have on the debate. Make sure you stay tuned for more election coverage as we get closer to November 8th.
All right, thank you, Rebecca. Well, the weather's been a little all over the place today, particularly hot. Macy, let's have a look at the weather.
Yeah, we're looking at some more cooler temperatures coming in for the next 7 viewing days. Today we're looking at sunny and breezy, but tonight we're looking for a 40% chance of thunderstorms. Tomorrow again, we're looking with a high of 72, sunny and breezy all over again is some temperatures I like to see. Wednesday night, nice and clear. And again, Thursday, we're looking at those high of 64, still really nice and beautiful outside. I think that fall weather is definitely starting to slip in this October. Before we head to our first break, it comes with great sadness that we must share the news of a car accident in Lincoln involving 6 young adults.
Nebraska Nightly's Jenna Reynolds went to the crash site.
Dozens of flowers and notes have been left by friends and family of the 6 victims of a crash right here on South 56th and Randolph Street, which police say happened Sunday, October 2nd, around 2 a.m.
Officers believe the black Honda Accord was driving east near the intersection when it left the road and struck a tree on the north side of Randolph Street. 5 of the 6 people in the car were pronounced dead on scene. They include the driver, 26-year-old Jonathan Kurt, 21-year-old Octavius Farr, 23-year-old Benjamin Lena, 22-year-old Jonathan Cook, and 22-year-old Nicholas Bazessi. The 6th person involved, 24-year-old Cassie Brenner, was taken to the hospital in life-threatening condition and later died due to her injuries. Police said one of the victims' iPhones alerted 911 that the user might have been in a severe crash and was not responding to their phone.
Police are still investigating the cause of this devastating accident. Reporting from Lincoln for Nebraska Nightly, I'm Jenna Reynolds.
Democracy to me means living in a place where there is a stable government as well as a place where everybody feels included.
To me, democracy means that even the little voices have a say.
One quote comes to mind is, of the people, by the people, for the people, by Abraham Lincoln.
To me, democracy is having your voice heard and power to the people.
Democracy to me means being free and transparent for everyone.
The voice of the people.
Welcome back, everyone. This month is Hunger Action Month, and the Food Bank of Lincoln is doing more for rural communities. Mackenzie Johnson spoke with members from the food bank to see what they're doing.
The month of September brings light to an issue that is often forgotten. The Food Bank of Lincoln is doing free food distributions across southeast Nebraska and raising awareness for Hunger Action Month.
The food bank currently serves Lincoln area schools and 28 rural communities.
We do a really great job of kind of hiding pockets of poverty or hiding food insecurity, but in reality we know these are our neighbors. These are folks who look just like you and me, and so I think it's just bringing that awareness that the hungry, it is us.
Sampson says the Food Bank of Lincoln goes to smaller towns in Nebraska that may not have as many resources for those who are facing hunger.
I think people think a rural community may not have as much food insecurity as maybe a bigger city. This idea that people are able to provide for their own community or provide for themselves, and we know that that's just simply not true.
The Food Bank of Lincoln serves 16 counties. They say there are nearly 50,000 residents who need support in the area. Almost every weekday in September, they have hosted drive-through distributions in towns with as little population as 1,500 people. Deborah Agerter with Blue Valley Community Action in Seward and Butler counties says this is a way for them to bring more attention to the reality of how many people are food insecure in rural areas.
Especially with the costs of food right now, it helps out tremendously. A lot of other rural areas do not have the food resources, so the food bank is very, very important.
One of the drivers for the food bank says providing these services takes a little bit of stress off of people who are struggling financially. It can allow them to use the money for memories instead of groceries.
Taking your children out for ice cream and doing a little bit of something like that. Gas, you can get to and from a job. There's just so many different little variables, you know. It's like just because you don't have this doesn't mean you can't go enjoy a little fun date at the place of mini golf or do something, you know, and go to the lake. And that gives you the opportunity to have a little bit of money to go do that.
Sampson says September is a great time to get educated, but the support and work to feed members of the community must continue all year.
I think it normalizes that idea that food insecurity can happen to anyone. Maybe your family members, it could be your friends. That I think the important thing is it's a lot closer to us than we think.
The Food Bank of Lincoln posts weekly distribution information on their social media accounts. To donate to the food bank or volunteer with them, visit their website at lincolnfoodbank.org. Reporting for Nebraska News Service, I'm Mackenzie Johnson.
All of the work that the food bank is doing for those people is just absolutely outstanding.
Yeah, I think that's amazing, everything they're doing for the people in our community. Stay with us. We'll be right back after the break.
Don't let it happen to other Big Ten schools. Go to saveourdinos.org.
Toilets can use 5 to 7 gallons per flush, making it the main source of water use in a home. You can lose more than 20 gallons of water a day from a single drippy faucet. Kitchen faucets use about 1.5 to 2 gallons per minute, whereas older faucets use more water. Wasting water is wasting time. Stop water waste now.
Welcome back, everyone. Before we toss it over to Nathan, how good did that win feel on Friday, Jill?
Well, I gotta say, I was a little stressed out during that entire game, but we happened to pull through in the second half, so let's see if we can keep that going.
Yeah, let's see if we can keep that momentum going into the Purdue game. Nathan?
Yeah, thanks, Macy. It wasn't the prettiest performance for the Huskers, but a win is a win as the Huskers overcame a 13-0 halftime deficit against Rutgers to win 14-7. The slugfest featured turnovers 5 turnovers between the two teams, including 2 fourth-quarter interceptions by the Huskers to secure victory. It's the Huskers' first time winning back-to-back games in the Big Ten since 2018, but interim head coach Mickey Joseph emphasized that the team is taking each week as a fresh slate.
Well, like I said, we have a 24-hour rule, so we celebrate it for 24 hours. We come in Sunday and we put it to bed Sunday night, and we get back on a Monday. So it's about preparing. You know, I know we all talk about momentum, but if you played this game, there's really no such thing as momentum, because you can have momentum and get your butt whooped. You know, so our job is to come back today and start preparing ourselves to go 1-0.
Nebraska sits tied for first in the Big Ten West through 3 games of conference action. Sitting atop the division with them is Purdue, where Nebraska will travel to take on this Saturday at 6:30. With the teams jostling for position atop the division, Joseph acknowledged the stakes of the game are higher, and he credited Purdue as a tough opponent.
We got to play well in all 3 phases to win this game. It's an explosive offense, a team, the quarterback's averaging 300 yards a game, and the defense is top 10, top 20 against the rush. I think they're giving up 2.9 yards a rush. But it's a really good football team. It's a mature football team. They've done a really good job. Brahms has done a really good job of keeping his kids in a program. And I think that's part of being successful, is keeping your kids in a program.
Speaking of keeping players in the program, wide receiver Isaiah Garcia-Castaneda entered the transfer portal yesterday. He caught a touchdown in the season opener, but his role has diminished since. Joseph said he had aspirations of being wide receiver 1 on the team. Joseph said he wishes Garcia-Castaneda the best. Football wasn't the only team on the road this past week as the volleyball team traveled to Michigan. The Huskers took down Michigan State in 3 sets on Thursday before trekking an hour down the road to Ann Arbor to take on the 24th-ranked Wolverines. First set point, Kennedy Orr sets it up to Caitlin Horde, who hammers it down. Horde, the Penn State transfer, making her mark this season with the best hitting percentage on the team. Second set was point for point all the way, but Maddie Kubik with a powerful swing. She led the game with 15 kills as the Huskers took set 2, 26-24. Third set, trying to go home early, Lexi Rodriguez with a dig. She was everywhere Saturday night, tallying a season-high 25 digs. She was honored as the Big Ten Co-Defensive Player of the Week. The Huskers with the block. Nebraska gets the point and gets the win in 3 sets. Nebraska still sits at 3rd-ranked team in the country as they improve to 6-0 in Big Ten play and 14-1 overall. They return home this weekend with a matchup against 14th-ranked Penn State on Friday night. The women's soccer team took on 16th-ranked Ohio State this weekend in a hard-fought battle ended in a tie. Eleanor Dale scored her 3rd goal of the season, while Sarah Weber's 85th-minute goal saved the tie for the Huskers. Nebraska sits at 5-4-5 on the season. They'll take on divisional foe Illinois on Thursday night at Hibner Stadium. Nebraska softball took on Colorado State this Saturday at Bullen Stadium, but the highlight of the day came before the game took place. Nebraska held the More is Possible rally celebrating 50 years of Title IX. Fans at the event could meet women's athletic teams from across Husker athletes while diving into the rich history of women's sports in Nebraska. Logan Eby has more.
This past weekend, the United States reached 50 years of Title IX being an active program. We were able to talk to some of our women's athletes on campus at the More is Possible rally to learn more.
Today we're here to celebrate women in sport. I think here at Nebraska we have a significant Husker Nation here that support women, and I think it's really cool that we're doing this today.
We have all the women's sports at the university here today. We have basketball, bowling, gymnastics, tennis, all the female sports, and we have a large crowd today just celebrating equal opportunity for women.
I think connecting with the little kids today, I think it's going to be awesome to see some future athletes here, see some kids that just love the game of sport, so I think it's really exciting for them to come here and see what women can do here at Huskers, and I'm really excited to meet some people today.
I think it's such a special event. I'm so blessed and grateful to be a part of the program that I am today, and yeah, we've come a long way, and so it's super awesome to celebrate that and celebrate women in sports.
Without Title IX, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing in the career I'm in. I was fortunate to be able to play tennis in college, which would never have been possible without Title IX.
Just being able to be a college athlete here at Nebraska has been a really big thing for me. I've always grown up looking at the Huskers, and to be able to represent this program is something that's really important to me.
and I'm really glad that lots of girls and young women have that opportunity growing up.
Reporting for Unlimited Sports, this is Logan Eby.
Well, that's all for sports this week. We'll head to break. Stay tuned for more.
Many of the brands you love don't love animals like you do. Look at the labels of products you use for a bunny logo signifying they don't lab test on animals. Check the label for those who aren't able. Start making the shift by visiting cruelty-freekitty.com today.
Hi, my name is Mackenzie Cook, and I am a multimedia strategist here at Yacht, and here are 3 reasons to join Yacht next semester. We here at Yacht work in groups every day to gain greater connections. We have a growth mindset through teamwork. At Yacht, you'll be able to grow your resume every day while you work with real-world clients. You get to come to class every day and challenge yourself to do better than you did the day before. If Yacht seems like the place for you, apply by September 18th at 11:59 at yacht.agency/apply. Can't wait to see you here and get ready to set sail.
Well, thanks for sticking with us. Before we wrap up, let's hear from Reed. You've got some entertainment opportunities coming up in Lincoln for us.
Are you looking for a unique musical experience? Well, the Lead Center is hosting The Wilds, a performative group that produces music in a new light. The Wilds is a performative group that presents music through bodies and movement. Through multiple themes of utopia and mythology, The Wilds puts live dancers and real-time animation together through motion capture technology, presenting a new next-level performative experience. The Wilds will be performing at the Lead Center until Monday, October 15th. More information can be found on the Lead Center website. Do you want to help someone win a People's Choice Award? Well, you can at the Say It Loud exhibit. Hosted by the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, Say It Loud is an exhibition displaying the work of 45 different designers. Viewers use QR code technology to learn more about each designer and vote for their favorite to win a People's Choice Award. The exhibit even features an online library resource in which one can learn about design diversity and even introduce them to design as a possible future career path. The exhibit will be featured from October 11th through October 15th. More information can be found on UNL's website. Halloween is just around the corner, and the University of Nebraska-Lincoln's theater department is celebrating early with their production of Shakespeare. Shakespeare is an immersive Halloween theatrical experience featuring many classic Shakespeare characters. Shakespeare is a haunted house experience in which you can see some of your favorite Shakespeare characters. Performance dates range from October 13th through October 30th. Viewer discretion is advised.
Well, that sounds like a really exciting opportunity. Thank you, Reed. I think I'm going to have to go check that Shakespeare out.
Yeah, that Shakespeare definitely sounds interesting, but I might be a little too scared. Thanks for joining us with Nebraska Nightly. We'll see you next week.